A lot of people today still talking about last night's vice presidential debate, separated by plexiglass, actually a lot of it, and socially distanced. Vice President Mike Pence and Kamala Harris, Senator Kamala Harris, took each other on in what will be known as the only vice presidential debate during this American election. So let's react. What did you ladies think of this last night?
I loved Kamala. I thought that she was really direct and clear and expressed their platforms really well. And Pence left me cold. The fly was entertaining.
Well, Christina on Twitter said, I was so annoyed by Pence's voice, his very presence, and the fact that the moderator was unable or unwilling to shut him up, but so impressed by how Senator Harris insisted that she get her time back every time. The fly, as Gabrielle mentioned, Christina says, the fly on Pence's head was like the cherry on top. And I mean, I don't want to talk about the fly, but I kind of have to talk about the fly. I was laughing because like NBC News Online had this headline yesterday that said, "Watch fly land on Pence's head for 2 minutes at vice presidential debate," which I had to giggle. It's kind of hilarious, but also pretty strange. I mean, that there was a vice presidential debate, and that is the headline. I will say online there were all kinds of interesting insights and thoughts among some of the sci-fi and horror fans that I follow. If you're a fan of that genre or those genres, you know that flies are bad omen in those realms. Like a lot of times they symbolize death or even demons. So people were making some notes about that. What was striking to me was the fact that, let's face it, we've all had a fly land on us from time to time in our lives. And the obvious choice to do is to shoo it away, right? But if he had done that, and I guess it stayed, it would have been extra awkward. So he chose to do nothing. And to me, this became a kind of symbol of the whole Pence vice presidency, his willful refusal to sort of acknowledge the thing that is right in his face, and which is the president. And so he, I think, will go down in history as a vice president who just pretends not to notice the obvious.
Yeah, and I think that too, most of us, you can't help it. We're watching that debate through the lens of what happened last week. It's just a week ago that Joe Biden debated Donald Trump, and that was chaos, and it went off the rails. So you're looking at what happened last night through, that kind of lens. And in comparison, Mike Pence, compared to his boss, the President of the United States, he spoke in a measured tone, right? He didn't yell. He wasn't blustering. He didn't act like a buffoon. And I worry that the voters that they need to reach would have been affected by that, like his demeanor over the things he actually said and the lies he actually told. So much of what Mike Pence said last night was outrageous and like totally wrong, totally made up. But television is a very powerful medium. We work in television. I find it fascinating the effect it can have. And just listen to this message on Twitter that we got from someone called Ottawa. Ottawa writes, sadly, Pence came across better. I don't like his running mate or his ideology, but he spoke well despite the fly. Harris looked less confident. Early on in the debate, there was too much smiling and eye rolling. And to me, this is the point I was trying to make. Ottawa, I clearly don't agree with you. However, I appreciate this comment because it speaks to what people look for in these things. They don't necessarily listen to what's being said. They just watch, and they watch and compare to a barometer of power and leadership that they have that is based on men should speak this way, and if they speak this way, they're more powerful than how certain women react at certain times. And that is what's scary. We have to watch this right now and how it'll unfold.
I don't know, Lainey. I mean, flies also like to land on piles of you-know-what. And so I'm not so shocked that the fly decided to chill there for 2 minutes because Mike Pence said a whole lot of nothing. He avoided every single question. And in fact, when it came to next questions by the moderator, if we want to call her that, he went back to answer questions that he should have answered well before. Now, what the lens that I'm going to look at this through is the lens of a black woman, because Kamala had handled herself with the class and the grace that a lot of black women have to when we are sitting up in boardrooms with across from middle-aged white men who do a lot of talking, but they don't say nothing. That's exactly what Kamala was there. And any child who has lied through their teeth knows exactly what that look is, the look that she had given Mike Pence when he was going on about his nonsense. I'm not gonna lie, Kamala also did skirt around some questions and didn't answer some things either. And so that to me was frustrating. But I think when you listen to the posts and the debates, all the conversation is how this woman handled herself, as opposed to what did Kamala actually say. And that is what women have to go through on a day-to-day basis, is the way that we conduct and handle ourselves as opposed to what we lay out there and what we say. She was very clear. I will agree with you, Gabby, but it's unfortunate that we couldn't get to that, because what are we talking about today? Mr. Vice President, I am speaking. Like, that's all we're going to be talking about moving forward. And I think Kamala, of course, has her opinions and what she had to say, but a lot of the conversation is how she handled herself and didn't make herself look like an angry black woman at this debate, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I think I want to end the conversation by saying, will this make a difference to the voting base, especially for those people who haven't decided yet? A lot of pundits today are saying it's kind of a nothing burger, that we're going to forget about this debate by like lunchtime or by dinner time tonight. And that's what a lot of pundits are saying, because it was lackluster, especially by comparison to last week's presidential debate. But I think if you want to look at the female vote, a lot of people are saying Trump really needs the female vote, that he has largely lost their support over the last 4 years. Will he get them back? Well, not with Mike Pence's performance, if you ask me. There were a lot of pundits who were saying things like something that every female in an office or workplace knows all about. It is what it's like to be interrupted by an incessant mansplainer. And the idea that the rebuttal that Kamala gave, which was, Mr. Vice President, please, I'm speaking. It's like every woman who's watching last night is not going to be helped, I think, by Mr. Pence's responses to Kamala.